Yeah, good morning. So, welcome to Competition IQ. So, today we'll discuss about different type of bills and their method of passing, like their mode of introduction, the definition of the bill, whether recommendation of president is required or not. Then, what's relative legislative power of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then, what kind of majority is required, and if there is any differences between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, like deadlock is possible or not, and then what are the options available to president? After bill is passed by both houses, then it has to be presented before president. So, what are the options available to president before he gives his assent? So, first we start with ordinary bill. So on this side, you can see I have categorized different headings. Like first is definition of the bill. So what's ordinary bill? Definition of ordinary bill is any bill which is not a money bill or finance bill or constitutional amendment bill. It's an ordinary bill. So it's a negative definition. Like definition of ordinary bill is it's defined with respect to money, finance, or constitutional. A bill, if a bill is not money, finance, or constitutional amendment bill, then that bill is ordinary bill. So it can be presented, it can be introduced in either house, and it doesn't need a recommendation of the president for its introduction. Regarding the relative legislative power, then both houses they have equal legislative power. And majority, simple majority is required for its passage. Deadlock, yes. If there are differences between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then deadlock is possible, and this deadlock it can be resolved by joint sitting. So there is provision of joint sitting of both the houses over an ordinary bill. For giving assent, president has all four options. He can give his assent, he can withhold his assent, he can send the bill back for reconsideration of president, and he can also do pocket veto. So all four options he has. Then money bill. So definition of money bill is a bill which deals with any matters under Article 110. So it involves any matter related to tax, regulation of borrowing, custody of consolidated fund of India, appropriation from CFI. So if government wants to appropriate from CFI, or government want to change the procedure of withdrawal from CFI, or government wants to change over the custody of CFI, then that bill is a money bill. Then declaration charged on CFI. So these are all money bills. It can only be introduced in Lok Sabha. Since Lok Sabha is House of People, all bills related to finances they have to be introduced in Lok Sabha. Recommendation, yes, it needs recommendation of president. Then relative legislative power. Lok Sabha is overriding legislative power in case of money bill. Rajya Sabha it doesn't have much power with regard to money bills. It can only delays. It can only delay passage of money bill for 14 days. After 14 days, the bill will be deemed to be passed in the form in which it was sent to Rajya Sabha. In case it rejects, then it's then in that case also it's deemed to pass. But Rajya Sabha can suggest its amendment. If Lok Sabha accepts those amendments, then bill is passed with those amendments. If Lok Sabha rejects those amendments, then it's passed in original form. Simple majority is required for passing a money bill. No joint sitting. There is no provision of joint sitting for money bill. And by convention, president gives his assent. He doesn't withhold his assent, or he doesn't send it for reconsideration. Then finance bill. So let me check the time. Okay, the reception time. Because in this video editing only 6 minutes video I can make. So third is finance. So finance is a combination of money bill and any other matter. So it has money matter as well as non-money matter. So in introduction it's same as money bill. It can only be introduced in Lok Sabha and recommendation of president is required. Then relative legislative power. Both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha they have equal powers with regard to finance bill. Majority, simple majority is required for finance bill, as was the case with money bill as well as ordinary bill. Deadlock, in case of deadlock, yes, joint sitting is possible. Assent, president has all four options. He can give his assent, he can withhold his assent, he can send for reconsideration. Then constitutional amendment bill. Constitutional amendment bill is a bill under Article 368 to amend any provision of the constitution. It can be introduced in either house. So, and recommendation, no, recommendation is not required. So even a private member, any member from opposition who is not associated with government, they can also introduce the constitutional amendment bill. Then relative legislative power, both have equal power. Regarding majority, so it requires special majority. And what's that? The majority is two-thirds of members present on voting. So all those members who are present at during that day. So out of those, two-thirds members have to support the bill, and that two-thirds members they should also constitute majority of total house. Like if 520 is the total majority, then at least 260 people should support that bill. There is no concept of joint sitting in case of constitutional amendment bill. So if it's rejected by any of the house, then that's the end of that bill. There are two types of constitutional amendment bill. First type is the bills which amend the federal features of the constitution, like if a bill affects the election of the president or regarding judiciary, high courts, then that bill affects the states also. So those type of bills, constitutional amendment bill, they need to pass by both houses of parliament as well as half of the legislature. And the second type is normal bills which don't affect any of the federal features. They need only to be passed by both the houses and then they are presented to the parliament for his approval. And after 24th Amendment Act, president is bound to give. It has been written in the constitution by 24th Amendment Act that president cannot refuse giving his assent to a constitutional amendment bill. So that was a very, you can say, fast covering of all type of bills, their mode of introduction, recommendation, uh, comparison of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, type of majority required, whether deadlock is possible or not, or options before the president. So thank you very much. Please like the video and share it. Thank you.